cases for mutual aid and common cause. There's individual trades and group projects both. And so, go ahead and click for me. That idea, right now we have 168 members with 114 activities happening. I was hoping for more. I'm an impatient man. I was thinking that we might have 300 or so now, but 168 people isn't bad for Taos, New Mexico. It's a decent start. But so if you're willing and you want to, please check out taostimebank.org. I love the camera to see it. Please take a picture of this if you will. I'd love you to look at it. We're right now just kicked off a campaign. We're hoping to raise $15,000 in a crowdfunding way in the next 3 months. If you feel willing to generate and help us with the project, it's a real bridge year until we reach more. But so this is an example of an Adobe work party where we're helping teach how to do something in a good, sustainable way and help a brother out. Thank you for your time. I think that's it for me. I ask you to not be a stranger, and yeah, please look if you want to visit or come and think about your own personally crafted time for sabbatical or discernment. Thanks so much.
Gatherings to lament and sing and spend time in this prayer stream, holding the stories of those who had just experienced a real disaster and a place to begin to rebuild their wounded spirits. Second, prayer stream offers a space for reflection and meditation. The mobile sanctuary provides a quiet space with gentle prompts and an invitation to rest, to reflect on what matters, to feel what is stirred. Studies of spiritually integrated trauma care show that when people are offered reflective, supportive spiritual environments, they're more able to recover and rebuild trust and find hope and move forward toward post-traumatic growth. When Prayer Stream and Boulder Mennonite joined together in a time of service and learning with the indigenous people of the Taos Pueblo, Prayer Stream leadership provided us with tools for respectful reflection, deep listening to the voices and wisdom of indigenous people, and how to connect our faith in the way of Jesus and our desire to be helping hands and feet with a humility of spirit that allowed us not to rush in and fix everything, but to reflect and listen and pray. And third, presence and companionship. The prayer stream isn't about fixing everything. It's about being present, acknowledging pain, witnessing grief and loss, and offering a relational sanctuary. The research on disaster spiritual care emphasizes that simply offering that hospitality and respect and silence and listening, it matters deeply. In other words, we don't skip to the we have the answer stage. We sit with people. Why does this matter? Well, in disasters, people's sense of meaning and safety and hope are disrupted. In this present moment of wildfires, many ask, why did this happen? Where do I go from here? Who will walk with me? And Prayer Stream Mobile Sanctuary says, you are not alone. Your story matters. Here is a place to rest. Come inside. Find space for spirit. Not in a distant way, but in the midst of your story and your pain and your hope. So the trailer, as you know, is deployed in a disaster zone or a restoration site, and skilled listeners or volunteer ministers invite people into the space and offer meditation and reflection prompts. They provide an option to just sit quietly if you want to, or to share your story if you want. Prayer Stream and those who volunteer are intentional about creating a non-pressured, welcoming environment, no agenda other than care and presence and hospitality. We align with the best practices of disaster spiritual care. Presence, respect, we avoid proselytizing and just meet people where they are. That is what spiritual care offers in the midst of disaster. Before anyone lifts a hammer or rebuilds a wall, God has already said, I have seen, I have heard. I know. Sometimes the first step toward healing is discovering that your story has been heard by someone. That's the gift Prayer Stream all hopes to offer. This small sanctuary where people are seen and heard and accompanied until hope begins to grow and trust begins to root again. And when trust roots, rebuilding of homes and lives then has a much deeper foundation. Amen? Amen. Thank you.
Again, and this couple, Ron and Julie Lynam, were offered to come and sing for the evacuees. The ash was falling on the driveway where we were waiting to find out whose homes might stand the next day. And this couple started singing, and he sang a song, One Beautiful Day. And it turns out that 8 years prior, this couple lost everything they had in a wildfire, and they were singing to the evacuees who would find out the next day or the next week whose places were still standing. And in the circle, there was of volunteers up there. We had young people who were going to celebrate the birthday, the 80th birthday of one of our volunteers, whose desire on the birthday was to celebrate by inviting children and grandchildren up to serve. And that chocolate cake was heaven on earth that everybody got to taste. This congregation has had people go to service learning trips and take their feet beyond this building and go and serve and learn about each other. A morning meditation with a summer youth project, 6-week program up in Grand Lake. The morning meditations held outside. Every feet plays and prays together. Sunday morning worship. The beautiful day when the acequias started to run in Cuesta, New Mexico, and we went to the water to wash out water bottles so that the plastic could be recycled. And we encountered these 3 young girls singing and dancing in the water as it was flowing. The feet that move and dance, as we heard before. God bless Rhino and all he did to make it even possible to imagine a sober living community in that place and in this time. Sometimes it's the unscheduled time that we laugh and we tell stories and we build. Sometimes it's a chipper.